Hello guys, this is your friend. We are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto was manipulated by evil Hinata and Harem with Hanabi, Naruto x evil Hinata. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start a new fanfic. Darkness was the only thing that graced me with its presence when I opened my eyes. Looking all around me, I hoped to find some spark of light, but, as a great man once said, reality is often disappointing. And I wholeheartedly believed that. There was no point in opening my eyes or closing them. All I could see was darkness. I guess I am dead, I let out a long sigh. But why am I not panicking? I mused. I had heard stories about how some random punk reincarnated in fantasy worlds and did as they pleased. But after who knows how long, my hopes shattered like broken glass. As for why I wasn't worried about my death, it was because there was no one to worry about me, no family, no relatives, and no friends. Yeah, it might sound like some cliched story of a broken hero or villain, but whatever. I was neither a good person nor a bad person to begin with. No, I was not some arrogant punk or some introvert nerd. I was a middle bencher in school. I read enough to pass the tests and participate in games. No one bullied me in the school, but on the contrary, I was a low-key bully myself. Girls were jealous of my beauty, but the only thing I could say was that they were ugly. Yup, I was a girl, what boys say about cultured women. I was that. Normal people didn't appeal to me, what appealed to me were fictional characters. In a room that I got from some government schemes, I watched anime, hentai, read manga, and when everything was about to end, I shifted to novels to smut to writing my own fanfictions. That was my life. I spent days in my room, locked, just to finish mangas and novels. Once there was a test conducted about intelligence, and surprisingly, my IQ was over 170. Yes, that's absurd, I myself was shocked. But then I slowly realized that it was not all about study or text written in books. I was creative, I remembered every character and their moves from every anime or novel I had read or watched. As for the side quests, I had learned the languages of the gods, Sanskrit, the mother language of all languages. I was fluent in it, and why did I learn it? Just for fun. I remembered every Bankai from Bleach, every jutsu from Naruto, and every hand-to-hand combat style was imprinted in my mind. Every hand sign shown in manga and anime was still fresh in my memory. And to my surprise, I remembered every non-canon character that had appeared in One Piece. To tell the truth, I put my IQ in the wrong place. But did I regret it? Ha ha ha, what a joke. If I were given a chance, I could rule every world just from my sheer knowledge. And now, when we talked about ruling the world, characters like Sosuke Aizen were my favorites. Achieving godhood and not giving a about anyone and manipulating everyone, that's Aizen's character in a nutshell. The characters I hated the most were the dumb and dense ones who gained powers solely through the plot armor. Why am I ranting to myself? Did I become crazy? No, it didn't seem like it. Just thinking about some characters made my frustration rise to no bounds. I wanted to punch them and beat some sense into them. But wherever, I am dead, floating in endless darkness. Rob, I yelled. Where the air you? Why don't you grant me some wishes and reincarnate me in my favorite anime world so I can have some fun? I yelled again. Bastard, did you hear me? System, I yelled for no reason. Where the is my system? I just wanted to have someone to kill my boredom, even if it was a robotic, cold voice. Where is my plot armor? Where is my protagonist aura? I guess no Rob, no system, I sighed. Let's recall all the anime and novels I had read, and just like that, I started to remember everything. Bored. I am bored. I had only one regret before I died. I died a virgin. But worry not, when I reincarnate, I will groom a perfect man for myself, he. Did I sound like a pedophile? Who cares? I just have some hope for reincarnation. I am not some weak-willed person who would go crazy from loneliness. And as if someone had heard my wish, my soul started moving at a super fast speed. I only saw a few stars and suns, as though I was traveling at the speed of light. Before long, I caught glimpses of a blue planet, and everything turned white. Looking around the white place, I saw a floating white orb. Curiously, I walked towards it, or should I say, floated. As soon as I reached the white orb, it shook slightly and instantly moved towards me. From my vast knowledge, I knew what it was. Merging. I felt powerful as our souls merged, even though I could say it was just like an infant. I wonder who this lucky soul is, I chuckled. Before long, our souls completely merged, making us one. I guess it's done. Now what? Would I have to wait for 9 months or something? I wondered which world I had reincarnated into. Did I feel guilty that I took her place? Hee hee. Not in the slightest. I didn't kill her. We became one, and her life or my life is bound to be epic. I waited and waited and waited, and finally, I felt a pull. I closed my eyes for a brief moment and then I started to hear random noises. When I opened my eyes, I was graced with a beautiful with pink nipple, and without hesitation, I leaned forward and pressed my baby mouth on the pink nipple and started to eat as if my life depended on it. I ate but no milk came out, but then I started to nibble with all my might, and as my baby hands moved towards her, I tried to squeeze it with my tiny hands. Yes, I finally felt my mouth getting wet. The warm, sweet nectar flew out from her mouth and graced me with its holiness. I ed hard. I heard a sweet moan from my mother. Let's check the waters. I flicked my tongue and tried to circle around her nipple. I heard again. I haven't seen who my mother is and started to bully her. What a bad girl I am. But then something unexpected happened. I started to see in all directions. I was looking behind my back, to my left and right while my mouth was in her nipple. I saw a fly sitting above the roof. The flowers in the garden meters away. I then raised my head and looked at my mother. She had dark blue hair, and white eyes filled with boundless love when she looked at me. Her kind and gentle smile could melt anyone's heart. Then the gate opened, and a man walked in. Although I looked at her, I could see his features, long black hair and eyes, dressed in a traditional kimono. Let me look at my child, he spoke and looked at me. He was none other than Hiashi Hyuga. Then everything clicked in my mind. I am Hinata Hyuga. Unknown to me, my hands raised in excitement. Yes, I yelled with all my strength. But only baby giggles escaped from my throat, but I was on cloud 9. Ha 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 ha. Hinata's mother blushed when she let out a shameful moan by feeding her daughter. She didn't know if it was natural or if Hinata was doing it on purpose. But when she looked at her innocent and adorable little girl, all of her thoughts dispersed. Maybe my little girl is too energetic, she thought to herself as she looked at Hinata with tenderness and love as if she were gazing at her most precious treasure. And it was true, to her, Hinata was the most precious thing in the world. She lay in bed, weakened, and raised her head towards her husband. In a meek voice, she asked, "What should we name our little girl?" Hiashi cradled Hinata in his arms, a smile on his face, his eyes never leaving her. She looked so radiant. She's like a sunflower. Her name should be Hinata Hyuga, he declared as he raised her towards the sun. It's a beautiful name, she said, smiling at him. She's just like you, he replied with love. Hinata reminded Hiashi of herself, with the same eyes, the same hair, and the same kindness. As he looked at Hinata, his smile turned into a frown when he noticed her eyes. There were some small veins popping out on her temples and under her eyes. They were very small and had gone unnoticed by him until now. He had been too happy to observe them. Byakugan, he murmured in shock. What did you say? She asked. His frown turned into a mild smile as he looked at his wife. He was beyond happy. Her Byakugan has awakened from birth, he said excitedly. His wife's mouth formed an O shape, She wanted to say something, but words didn't come out. The Byakugan typically awakens between the ages of 5 and 10. There were some records of members awakening it at the age of 4, and they were all prodigies. However, there were no records of anyone awakening the Byakugan from birth. Their daughter was the first one to do so. Doesn't that mean they've given birth to a prodigy? No, prodigy isn't the right word. They've given birth to a monster. Really? She asked, still shocked. Look. He quickly closed the distance, handed Hinata to her, and showed her Hinata's Byakugan. It really is the Byakugan, she said in a low voice. Ha ha ha. Hiashi burst into laughter. That's my daughter. She will be unparalleled in the younger generation, he declared with pride. Our clan will reach new heights. Let's see how those cursed Uchiha will react, he declared. With my daughter, our clan will leave them in the dust, and I'll make sure of it, he said while holding Hinata in his arms, gazing at her with boundless love. He was beyond happy, happier than he had ever been in his life. His wife looked at his proud eyes, brimming with love and excitement. Seeing him so happy, she also smiled and said, "It's not just your daughter, it's our daughter." Of course, dear, he smiled. There was always hidden rivalry or enmity between the Hyuga and Uchiha clans. In recent years, two prodigies were born in the Uchiha clan, Itachi and Shisui. Hiashi was worried that there was no child in their clan of that caliber, but now he was sure that his daughter would surpass them, and their clan was bound to rise again. Look, it's still activated, he observed that her Byakugan hadn't been deactivated. I think she didn't know how to close it, she smiled. Of course, she didn't know. She's just a child, he said. He wasn't worried about it, it would deactivate on its own when her chakra ran out. They started to play with her, calling her sweet names and telling her stories. Although they knew she couldn't understand, they didn't mind. Before long, his wife fell asleep. Hiashi placed Hinata beside her. Sleep well, little girl. I'll be back soon, he said and walked out of the room. If they keep loving me like this, I might get sugar, I thought while looking in all directions. My Byakugan is still active. How should I turn it off? It's starting to give me a headache. Looking in all directions is not a pleasant experience for my baby brain. But hey, who am I to decline good things? I know the Byakugan is one of the most powerful dojutsu if used correctly, and with my knowledge, he. If I don't start grinding from day one, it will be a taint on my reincarnation, I chuckled. My Byakugan has awakened from birth. If my guess is right, it's due to my powerful soul. If I want to make my eyes powerful, I have to focus on the spiritual aspect of chakra. I have a clear plan for what to do in the future. Security has been dramatically tightened, I thought as I looked at more than 20 men guarding the room. I think he loves me more than I thought. It's a good thing. It's very easy to manipulate parents, give them what they want, and they will pamper you with everything they've got. My father wants me to become a good clan leader and make him proud of my skills. And who am I not to give him what he wants? I will convince him to do some things for me. After all, I am his precious daughter. He will do anything for me if I make him proud, right? As soon as Hiashi stepped outside the room, with a single command, he increased the security around his daughter's room. No one was allowed to enter the room. With a mild smile, as he walked in the corridor, every member of the Hyuga clan could feel that their leader was happy, in fact, and too happy. They knew his wife was pregnant, so it didn't take too much time to understand why he was happy. He entered a room where the clan's most closely guarded secrets were kept. He pulled out a large book. This book contains details of every Hyuga clan member, including their birth information, blood type, parents, and the age at which they awakened their Byakugan. He quickly registered Hinata into it, labeled as the next clan head and the first one to awaken the Byakugan from birth. He met the 5 elders of the clan and told them about the birth of his daughter, and to say they were happy would be an understatement, they were beyond happy. After all, to them, the clan matters the most. In just 1 hour, the news spread through the Hyuga clan like wildfire. They knew the new clan heiress was born with monstrous talent. But in the next moment, every branch family member felt the curse seal on their forehead activated. This was the first time in decades when they felt like this. Hiyashi stood with 5 elders standing behind him, and every member of the Hyuga clan was standing in front of them. This was the first time in years that Hiyashi used the curse seal on any branch member. He stood on a high ground and looked at the members. I hope you already know this, but I officially announce today that the future clan heiress is born. You shall call her Hinata Hyuga. The members roared in cheer, although some of them were insincere, but the majority of them were genuinely happy. Hiyashi had never treated them badly, so they were happy for him, but this sentiment wasn't shared by everyone. With every word he spoke, the seal on their foreheads faintly glowed and started to cause slight pain. And the news of her monstrous talent and potential should not get out from the clan's gate. Every member understood the gravity of the matter. Yes, clan leader, they bowed. That's good that you understand. If any of you even consider leaking the information, you will die. His voice sent chills down their spine. There were many uses of the curse seal in their clan, and now he specified the order. If anyone tried to disobey that order, their fate would be worse than death. There was silence. Everyone understood what Hiyashi meant. They all nodded to him. Hiyashi's face was indifferent as he swept his gaze over all of them, and when he was satisfied by their reaction, he turned around and left. He knew there were no traitors in the Hyuga clan, but he took precautions. He couldn't risk the safety of his daughter. It's better to be safe than sorry. According to clan traditions, elders and members had the option to bless the newborn if they wished, and there was curiosity in their eyes. They also wanted to see why their clan leader was so optimistic. Hinata was peacefully sleeping beside her mother. She had exhausted all of her chakra due to her eyes being activated all the time. Creak. The door opened, and Hiyashi and the elders entered the room. A fond smile curved on his lips as he looked at her, and his previous coldness and the demeanor of a clan head were gone. Some elders noticed it but didn't say anything. Look, isn't she beautiful? He asked. The elders looked at him, squinting their eyes. You are not acting like the clan leader, Hiyashi, one of them said. In fact, they were not here to admire her beauty. They wanted to see if Hiyashi's claims were true or not. All of them activated their Byakugan and examined her, their brows frowned. So it's true, one of them said as he detected traces of chakra in her. Normally, children didn't have any chakra. They unlock their chakra with the help of their parents, or some exceptionally talented children do it on their own. Now let's see whether she has the Byakugan or not. One of them walked over, lifting Hinata from her bed in his arms. Hiyashi didn't want to wake up his sleeping child, but the elders have some authority over him, so he held himself back for the time being. Who has the guts to wake me up? I thought as my body felt as if it was being lifted by someone, and I was sure it was not my mother or father. The first sight that came to my eyes was the net of chakra pathways as I looked at how the chakra was flowing in their systems. It's them, I said as I looked at the 5 people, only their chakra pathways were visible to me. I still don't have any control over my eyes. From the corner of my eye, I saw my father standing there. How could I say that he was my father? Didn't I mention that I could remember everything after seeing them once? His chakra signature was engraved in my mind along with these maggots. Haha, it's true. Hiyashi, you are blessed with good fortune, one of the elders exclaimed loudly as he looked into my eyes. Bastard, speak in a low voice, it hurts my baby ears. Yes, you are right, Kazuya-sama, Hiyashi politely said. I didn't focus on them for now, I focused on my father. Why are you so polite to them? I tried to convey with my eyes, but he only smiled when he looked at me. You are the clan head, and you're letting them walk all over you. Why are you acting like a spineless man before them? But don't worry, it will change soon. A small giggle escaped from my lips. What a good girl, one of the elders said as he heard my laugh. Good girl, yes, you are right. Let me grow up a bit, then I'll show you my goodness. I laughed some more. Soon, after looking at me for some more time, they left. I let out a sigh of relief, but my happiness was short-lived as more and more people came in to see me. But to me, they appeared as nets of chakra pathways, and I had remembered all of them. This continued for an hour, and when everything became quiet, I sighed. Being a heiress is quite troublesome sometimes, I thought. But once more, the door opened, and two people came in. Although my eyes were on my father, I could see them, a man with the same features as my father, and beside him was his young son, around 1.3 years old. What I saw was a complete absence of chakra in him. You finally came, brother, I was waiting for you, Hiyashi smiled. Let me see my niece, he said and took me in his arms with utmost care. He was Hisashi Hyuga. He started to play with me, poking my cheeks with his fingers. How is my little Neji? My father asked the small boy while lifting him. I am fine, uncle, he said in a childish voice. A glint passed through my eyes as I looked at Neji. He will be my perfect two-cough big brother, who will protect me. I might be arrogant but not delusional to think that I could do everything by myself, not for now. Why don't you look at your sister? Heishi asked Neji. He nodded cutely to him and walked toward me, taking me into his arms from his father. I could feel his nervousness through his shaking hands. Father, uncle, what should I say to her? He asked innocently, not knowing what to say. How cute and pure, I chuckled as I heard. We will leave you with her. You can play as you want and don't be shy, my father said as both of them exited the room leaving me alone with Neji and my mother. She was still sleeping. Until now my eyes had turned normal and I could see his face, his expressions were childlike, and he just looked at me not knowing how to play. With his little fingers he started to touch my cheeks, I felt and giggled. Raising my hands I tried to touch his face. Slowly his nervousness started to fade away as he lowered his face to let me touch it. So you also want to play, he said with a smile. I could feel his happiness. I think he had never played with anyone. Yes, brother, I tried to say but only baby voices came out from my mouth, but it was enough to encourage him. Hee, do you like your brother? He asked while playing with me. I just raised my hands and tried to clap. Say my name Neji. Neji, he tried to teach me his name, he knew I couldn't say it, but when he was away from his father's eyes he started to behave like a child. Neji, well I tried to say but only cooing sounds like, AAA, came out, but when he heard it he was beyond happy. Yes, say it again, it's Neji, and I am your big brother, he excitedly said. I tried it again, this is fun, I thought. Who said that being a baby is boring? Yes, play with your sister, and only became attached to me. You will not learn about the bullshit of fate, you will only learn from me, and do as I say, big brother Neji, I chuckled while looking and giggling as he played with me. Neji played with his little sister for almost an hour. He never got tired of her cuteness and playful behavior. He felt like she truly considered him her big brother. His childish mind didn't know that a one-day-old child wouldn't behave like this, but this was overshadowed by her cuteness. And because of this, he would walk himself to her, unable to resist her temptations. He didn't know what the future held for him, but one thing was certain, he would never be able to resist his little sister. Oh, she had fallen asleep, he said in a disappointed voice as he looked at his little arms where she was sleeping blissfully. This was the first time he was truly happy. But then he smiled cutely and gently placed her in the crib, starting to slowly swing it. We will play tomorrow, he happily said. After giving her a last glance and patting her head, he walked out of the room, leaving the mother and daughter together. In the clan head's office, Hiyashi was looking at two kneeling boys, both around 20 years of age. They were twins, and their parents had died in the Second Shinobi War. Since then, Hiyashi had been everything to them. He had taught them writing, learning, and fighting, providing them with what they needed the most. He had never treated them poorly. They served as his personal bodyguards, experts in assassinations, spying, information gathering, and masters of the Hyuga fighting style. They were his most trusted men, receiving orders exclusively from Hiyashi, not from the clan elders. Stand up, Hiyashi commanded, and both of them stood up promptly. To them, he was a father figure to them. Lord Hiyashi, what is our mission? Ritsu asked. He had short brown hair and stood at 178 centimeters tall, the same height as his brother Ren. You are relieved of your duties as my personal bodyguards, he said. Ren and Ritsu were shocked. They couldn't understand what mistakes they had made to warrant such punishment. They had served him with unwavering loyalty, always following his orders without questioning. They started to rack their minds to find out what they had done wrong, but nothing came to their mind. Lord Hiyashi, what mistakes have we made? Ren asked, his voice trembling with nervousness. They were not emotionless drones, they experienced all the emotions a human should have. That's why their hearts ached upon hearing his orders. Hiyashi shook his head dismissively. I think they took my words the wrong way. I am very pleased with your determination and loyalty, he said. Subconsciously, a smile formed on their lips when they heard their lord praise them. But from today onwards, you will serve as personal bodyguards for my daughter. You will protect her from all dangers, take care of her needs, and, when she is old enough, you will report only to her and follow her orders, he said in a stern voice. He didn't know why, but he was feeling paranoid, even though he knew she would be safe in the clan compound. His heart didn't settle on this. He wanted the best for his daughter, so he assigned the best ninjas to protect her. Yes, Lord Hiyashi, they both replied, bowing slightly. They were more than happy to serve the next clan leader. In their minds, this was the best way to repay Hiyashi for everything he had done for them. Now, you are dismissed. They both disappeared in a swirl of leaves, leaving Hiyashi alone in the office with some leaves scattered on the floor. Did they have to disappear like this? Now who will clean up these leaves? Both Ren and Ritsu appeared in front of Hinata's room and blended into the shadows. Next morning, the first sight that came to me was the soft and firm of my mother as her pink bud stood in front of my mouth only to be ed by me. And who was I to deny her generous offer, and did what shall be done? I ed her nipples with affection as holy sweet nectar flowed in my mouth and filled my belly. That's some good stuff, I thought while trying to swirl my tongue around it. My girl is surely energetic, I heard her playful voice, while I felt tender pats on my back. I replied with my actions as my hands tried to grab her hair. Ha ha ha, do you want to play with mommy's hair? She said as she brought some strands of her hair in front of my baby fists, and of course I grabbed her hair and pulled them with all my strength. I don't think she had expected this, hee. She looked at me with a wronged expression, and I gazed back at her, giggling. You naughty girl, let go of my hair, she said. I once again pulled her hair and let her go with a small giggle. Bullying her is too much fun, I chuckled, watching her facial expressions resembling a bullied puppy. Now, Hinata, don't bully your mother too much, she said with a smile. How gentle and kind, I thought. After feeding me tons of milk, she placed me in the crib and started to swing it gently while singing a lullaby. Sleep well, baby, she said. After seeing my eyes closed, she walked away while saying some sweet things. Of course, I was still awake. I was alone in the room, gazing at the vast sky above my head. The two ceilings didn't hinder my vision in the slightest. One thing was certain. I had an abundance of yin chakra due to my powerful soul, and my Byakugan was incredibly potent and powerful because of my spiritual energy. Playing with Neji and Mother is certainly fun, but it's time to get serious. I could feel the cozy atmosphere in the room change. My chakra has increased since yesterday. I observed the chakra in my pathways, which was much more than it was yesterday. As a result, the duration I could activate my eyes had also increased. There were two ways to train my eyes in visual aspects. The first one was the external vision, which means how far I could see. As I remember, Kagaya Otsutsuki could see the entire elemental nations with her Byakugan. And how did I know? It's simple. There was no moon when she used the infinite Tsukuyomi. She was able to do this because she could see every living person with her eyes. And her Byakugan was far more powerful than Hamura's, and it allowed her to see into a target's mind to determine their thoughts and feelings, even to look through their memories. But man, she was stupid as. So my ultimate goal for my external vision is to see the entire elemental nations and the memories of others. Well, I'm not worried about whom I will test these theories on. There are plenty of potential lab rats in the Hyuga clan, I just have to choose one. The second way to train my eyes is internal vision, or should I say, microscopic vision. In simple terms, I had to be able to see the nucleotides. And you might ask, what is that? So, let me elaborate for you. Nucleotides are the next level of biological organization, smaller than DNA. They are composed of two long chains of nucleotides that spiral together to form the famous double helix structure. The only things smaller than nucleotides are atoms, so my ultimate goal for microscopic vision is to see the nucleotides in my body. I know these goals may seem absurd, but they're not impossible. Just because nobody has tried this doesn't mean it can't be done. And it shall be done by me. It might take a decade, but I will do it. 13 years, that's the time limit. And for that, I have to practice day and night. I know I'm not some protagonist in a shonen story who gains strength through the power of friendship. They can achieve a level of strength in an instant, whereas the villain had to grind there for decades. That's just absolute bullshit. I will rise above the heaven. No matter how hard my opponents try, they will never reach me. They can only watch, envy me. Now, I sound like an arrogant young master. But hey, I am the young master. This world will come to know the monster it has never seen before, and it will be remembered for generations. Now that my plans for the Byakugan have been set for the future, let's focus on current situations. The amount of chakra I held is barely enough for me to activate my eyes for 10 minutes. I had to perfect my control over chakra so I could effortlessly use large-scale ninjutsu. The perfect control over chakra, the less it takes to use jutsus. Now, the thing that I wanted was to increase my chakra reserves, and to do it, I had to repeatedly empty and fill my reserves. This was the method. And I am still an infant, so with time, my chakra pathways will also expand tremendously, and I would also try to forcefully expand them. I could activate and deactivate my Byakugan at will. At first, it was slightly hard due to me being a baby, but after 3 or 4 tries, it had become a lot easier. Raising my hands, I focused my eyes on them. My vision started to shift slowly. I could see my flesh and bones, but I ignored them and focused on the chakra pathways. They were like pipelines carrying my chakra throughout the body. The Hyuga clan had a massive advantage in the department of chakra control. They could literally see it and its flow. And after you can see something, it becomes a lot easier to control it. There were more than 35 tenketsu points below the wrist in both hands. After observing the chakra for a few minutes, I started to slowly guide it towards my chakra points. It was hard, but not too much after seeing it. More than 95% of shinobi couldn't bring their chakra out of their bodies. Only exponentially talented people could do it, and because of that, their strength increased manifold. For example, Tsunade Senju could bring out her chakra into her legs and fists. That was the secret of her super strength. The Hyuga clan was an exception to this rule. That was the reason their gentle fist was not so gentle when it hit. They could expel chakra from every tenketsu point. I slowly started to guide it out of my hands, and soon my hands were covered in a blue bubble of chakra. And then my Byakugan turned off automatically, and the chakra that was on my hands dispersed into the air. All of my chakra was gone, and I started to feel sleepy. It will serve many purposes at the same time. The sharpness of my Byakugan will increase, my control over chakra will improve, and my chakra pathways will start to grow and become larger and more elastic. I am hitting many targets with a single stone, I chuckled and fell asleep. Why is everything swinging? I thought in my sleep. Wakey wakey, little sister. I then heard a childish voice. Opening my eyes, I looked at Neji, who had a cheeky smile. So, it's time to play, huh? I thought. Well, I can't waste my time, so I activated my Byakugan and started to oversee the process of chakra creation in my belly. Sometimes I giggled at Neji and played with his fingers. He tried to teach me his name, and of course, I tried to say it to make him happy. Single quote. I observed the creation of my chakra, but it was depleting at a visible rate because my eyes were absorbing it like a sponge. Before long, my reserves were empty. Single quote. Sorry, Neji, it's time to sleep, I thought and fell asleep. You only played with me for 15 minutes. Why are you always so sleepy? He complained. Hey, say something. He tried to poke my cheeks to wake me up again. I guess she really fell asleep, he said in a disappointed tone and put me in the crib. After grumbling for some time, he left. Finally, I thought, now what? Why don't people let me sleep peacefully? I opened my eyes. It's time for the milk, sweetie, my mother said sweetly. And her s graced me with their holy presence. Of course, I didn't forget to bully her while grabbing her hair. I don't know why, but she is so gentle and kind, I just want to bully her. After feeding me, she also fell asleep. I was in my crib, alone. I activated my eyes and looked outside as the half moon appeared in front of my eyes in its full glory. So it's already night, I thought while raising my hands and focusing my eyes on my chakra. This time, I tried to guide it only to one chakra point. The blue chakra started to leak out from the tip of my index finger. With all of my focus, I tried to shape this chakra into the form of a thread. Ever so slowly, it began to take the form of a small chakra string. After reaching a length of 20 centimeters, I lost my control over it, and it dispersed. It's the best way to train chakra control. I had many ideas about chakra strings. Imagine thousands of chakra strings with an elemental affinity spinning around me madly. If I used this technique in a crowd, it would be a massacre. To be able to control thousands of strings requires perfect chakra control and focus. It will come with time. I was not worried about it. And just like that, time started to pass slowly, and my chakra started to grow tremendously. My control over it was near perfect. With this level of perfection, I started to forcefully expand my chakra pathways, and the results were in front of my eyes. A paper butterfly was flying over my head. Obviously, I was controlling it. I connected a chakra string which was split into 3 parts on the edge. 2 of them connected to the butterfly's wings, and 1 was supporting it. With just my thought, the butterfly flapped its wings and flew over my head. I started to get out of the crib with the help of some chakra strings. It was boring to lay all day in one place. After successfully landing on the floor, I began to crawl towards the wall. With my hands and knees, I started to take steady steps, and before long, I was in front of the wall. Putting my hands on the wall, I tried to stand up. I channeled the chakra into my palms through the chakra points. When I was sure it was perfectly adhered to the wall, I removed my left hand and placed it slightly above it. Yes. I started to crawl on the wall. The first step, then came the second and the third. My hands and knees were glued to the wall as I started to walk towards the roof. This is so much fun, I thought while taking steady steps. I was not worried about falling down, I had full confidence in my abilities. I started to crawl in different directions, and before long, I was hanging upside down. I looked at the ground from the roof. Creak. The door opened in front of my eyes, and my father and mother walked into the room. Oops. The color of their faces paled when they didn't find me in the room. Sweat beads started to appear on their foreheads. Hinata, my mother yelled in panic and ran towards the crib. Damn it, mother. You have Byakugan, just use it if you want to find me, I couldn't help but think. Then my father's gaze met mine. I just smiled as I let go of my chakra, and the next moment, I was free falling. He appeared in front of me and caught me in his arms. Looking into his eyes, I giggled and raised my hands to touch him. Are you okay, my baby? My mother snatched me from him and started to examine me. How could you walk on the walls? You are just 4 months old, he murmured. But I could see the worry, happiness, and pride in his eyes. This was the first time I saw so much emotion on his face. As for my mother, she was still examining me worriedly. I guess I made them worried, I thought. And what's the best way to get out of this situation? I just closed my eyes and fell asleep. House arrest. That was what I felt. And this was done by none other than my mother after I pulled that stunt. From that day onwards, she didn't separate me from her, always looming over me like a ghost. During the day, she tied me to her back to do some house chores while I slept peacefully on her back. It's been a month since that day, and due to my mother, my routine has been changed. I peacefully slept all day, only woken up by Neji, who wants to play with me. For 1 hour, I played with him, while continuously practicing my Byakugan. At night, I trained my chakra control and Byakugan. And how could I forget about bullying my mother for being so overprotective? I started to cry in the middle of the night just to disturb her peaceful sleep. If I can't get it, nobody will get it. And this was my current situation. My mother opened her eyes and rushed towards me. What happened, baby? Why are you crying? She worriedly lifted me from the crib and asked. My wailing stopped, and I just looked at her worried face. I just wanted to laugh, and so I did. You little devil, why don't you let me sleep peacefully? She squinted her eyes at my laughing face. This happened every night, 1 or 2 times, and she started to feel that this little thing was doing it on purpose. Having my fun, I feigned sleep. She put me in the crib, a sigh escaping her lips, and she slept in the bed with my father. I was really skeptical about my father. He didn't even wake up. Is he really the clan head, or is he just pretending? Hey man, at least try to wake up, show some worry on your face. Now that I think about it, they hadn't done any immoral acts. Or they did behind my back. It would be fun to watch live porn. But to my disappointment, they hadn't done anything. Shaking my head, I focused on my training. It was a good break. Activating my Byakugan, I looked at all of my Tenketsu points, totaling 361 in number. With all my focus, I started to guide the strands of chakra into every chakra point. Soon, 361 chakra strings burst out from every side of my body without damaging any clothes or the crib. They were intangible. If I didn't have the Byakugan, I wouldn't be able to see them. With a thought, I started to pour more chakra into them, and they became more powerful. Chakra strings couldn't be seen by normal eyes, only the Byakugan could detect them, or a sensor ninja could sense them. These were the results of my 5 months of training. I didn't skip a day, nor did I waste any minutes. Every day, I studied chakra closely, observing how it is made and how it could be transformed into anything. After controlling all 361 chakra strings for almost 3 hours, I masterfully retracted all of my chakra back into my body. I couldn't afford to waste any of my precious chakra, my eyes were enough for that. And even without the Byakugan, I could do it now. After retracting the chakra into my body, I started to control it and began expanding my chakra pathways with it. Starting from my head and going down to my toes, I focused all of my chakra at one point and tried to expand that place. I was careful enough not to hurt myself, and just like that, I completed the cycle. It was a tiresome process, but I had to do it. 3 cycles were the limit of my body, and I had started doing this from the 5th day of my birth. My still growing body quickly molded to my will. I currently hold the amount of chakra that a human body could be capable of holding at the age of 5 months. Before I knew it, it was morning, and people started to wake up. With my eyes, I could see them, running here and there. Currently, my range was around 1 to 2 km. After spending all of my chakra on my eyes, I finally ended the training session for today. After getting a dose of milk from my mother, I was tied behind her back, our backs touching each other so I could see behind her back. To my initial views of clan elders, they were surprisingly good to me and my parents. Heck, they even played with me from time to time. Weren't they shown as bad people? Now, they were so kind to me. How could I put them in their place? How could I teach them humility? I chuckled at my wandering thoughts. If they are good, I will use their goodness for my benefit. Unbeknownst to me, a smile crept on my lips, but on a toddler like me, it looked creepy. Now, I could only think before sleeping. My mother walked into the clan compound, and every branch member greeted her respectfully, murmuring something good about me. Have they started bootlicking me, even though I'm a toddler? I couldn't help but laugh when I heard their praises towards me. Good, very good, praise me, I might not pick you as my lab rats in the future. I thought some evil thoughts as I started to remember every jutsu that was used by everyone. I remembered every hand sign for jutsu performed by every single ninja. I didn't know how many of them would work. Heck, I even remembered the hand signs for the Death Reaper seal, but I had no intention of using it anytime soon. I value my life. And why hadn't I used any elemental jutsus, like some low-level jutsu, such as Gale Palm, Wind Breakthrough, or Fireball, and Waterball, etc.? It's because I wanted to first perfect my chakra control. If I were going to learn any of these jutsus, I wasn't going to do it in traditional ways, like remembering the hand signs, and poof, you've learned the jutsu. Let's leave them for the future, I thought while enjoying the morning beauty of my clan. It was truly worthy of being called the richest and noblest clan. There were many gardens with small ponds, pink-leaved trees, and flowers of various types. Every member could have their own separate training ground if they wanted. It's morning, so it's time for sleep, I thought with a yawn. And just like that, 5 more months had passed without anything eventful happening. I practiced my chakra control, chakra strings, expanded my pathways, and brutally trained my external and internal visions. Well, I could use chakra scalpel over my hand, and I could cut someone's neck in a swift motion without them knowing if I wanted to. Currently, I was running with my tiny legs to catch my dear, big brother. I had learned to walk a month ago, and I could also speak, but I hadn't spoken to any of them. He slowed down so I could catch him, and I caught him with a giggle. Ha ha ha, you are so fast, little sister. You could even catch me, he laughed with a wide smile. He was currently 2 years old. I just laughed at his childish antics. After playing with him some more, he spoke, say my name, Neji. Neji. He daily tried to teach me his name, and I guess it's time to reward him. I slowly opened my mouth, Nneej, then I stopped. Yes, say it, it's Neji. He clasped his hands in front of me. Nneej, Neji, I finally spoke my first words. Yes, yes, he was overjoyed when I said his name. He grabbed my shoulder and looked directly into my eyes. He was very happy indeed, and I could see it. That's my sister, he said and ran outside to tell everyone. Hee hee, big brother, you are on the right track. Soon, my parents and his father came into the room with excited faces. I didn't lie, Auntie, she really said my name, Neji said to my mother. He then looked at me with a smile. Tell them you said my name, he asked. Neji, I only spoke one word, and he was overjoyed. My mother's expression changed when she realized she wasn't the one I called first. She quickly came closer to me and said, Say, Mama, little girl. Neji. No, no, it's Mama. Neji. I repeated my words like a parrot. All of them laughed. And just like that, 2 more months passed, and my birthday had come and gone. It was a really tiresome day. I want balloons, big brother, I said to Neji while pointing at a balloon shop. Currently, we were walking outside of the clan, and I could see the 2 guards following us in the shadows. I had discovered from day one that they were stronger than normal guards. If my guess was correct, they were above Jonin level. I also noticed that they didn't report to my father, and it didn't take much to guess that they were my personal guards. My father is surely generous, they will come in handy after 2 years, I thought. My mother was also walking beside us, both of us in her arms. Why don't you ask me? She inquired. I want some balloons, mother, I cheekily laughed, and she was all smiles. Anything for you, my baby, she said. I bounced a water balloon in my right hand, and with all of my power, I threw it. Splash! With the sound of bursting, the balloon exploded, soaking Neji's clothes. Hee hee, I hit you, big brother, I said with a blissful laugh. It's been a few days since we got our new toys, I mean balloons and some rubber balls. Neji laughed with me, too happy to play with me. Currently, the sun was hanging above our heads. The summer noon was really a good atmosphere, which is why I was not worried about him getting sick from the water. This was the time when I usually played with Neji. Neji grabbed a balloon from the water bucket and threw it at me while saying, Dodge it, little sister, you are a good ninja. I could see that he didn't throw it too fast, it was fast enough for me to dodge. We were playing ninjas in a ninja village, I laughed at my rhymes and dodged the balloon. Grabbing another one, I hit him one more time, soaking him. By the way, he was good target practice. He just laughed when the water touched him, then grabbed another one and threw it at me, but this time, I didn't dodge it. Splash! It exploded on my shoulder. I looked at my soaked dress, then I looked at Neji. Here the act begins. Sniff sniff. When I looked at Neji, my eyes started to turn moist, and tears began to fall from my beautiful eyes. Woo ha. Big brother is bad, he hurts me, sniff, sniff, I started to shed tears. When he looked at me, he panicked. He looked around to see if someone saw us or not. When he didn't find anyone, he rushed towards me. I am sorry, I didn't mean it, he said in a worried voice. Neji is bad, sniff sniff, he hurt me. He panicked more, not knowing how to stop my crying. I will tell mother that you hit me, and sniff sniff, I won't play with you anymore, I said between sniffs and turned around to leave him. My words rang in his head, and he quickly grabbed my hand. Please don't tell Auntie. You can hit me as many times as you want, he said while giving me the last balloon. I could see he was about to cry. HHHA, so much fun, bullying him is more fun than playing with balloons, I chuckled when I looked at his begging eyes. Really? I asked between cries. Yes. Raising my hand, I threw the balloon at him. Are you happy now? He asked worriedly. Hee hee, big brother is the best, I exclaimed with a laugh. Neji heaved a sigh of relief. For him, his little sister was very easy to please. She was like a little doll to him, and he didn't want to see her cry. Let's play more, he said with a laugh, and he was all smiles and smiles. You are slowly becoming the brother I want, I chuckled at his behavior. We are out of balloons, he said when he didn't find any. Let's fill them with water, I said. And both of us started to fill the water in our balloons for the next round. Burst. Neji looked at me and asked, little sister, why did some of the balloons burst in your hand? He curiously inquired. I put a finger in my mouth and looked at him cutely. I don't know, brother. They just burst in my hands like this. I raised another balloon which exploded in my hand. I think they are defective, I said. Huh, what does that mean? He asked, finding a new word. Oops, I slipped away. It means they sold us bad balloons, I lied through my teeth. These balloons were top-notch. I see, I will tell father, he innocently said while filling another balloon. When the next batch was filled, Neji stood in the same place all the time while I practiced throwing at him. I grabbed a rubber ball and threw it at Neji. Catch it, big brother. I yelled. He caught it and threw it back at me. Catch it, little sister, he said. While stumbling, I caught it. Burst. The rubber ball exploded in my hand. Look, big brother, it's another defective rubber ball, I said. I will definitely tell this to my father. Look how I teach them not to sell bad things to my sister, he mumbled while grabbing and throwing another ball. Your young master is showing, Neji. I chuckled while catching another throw. But hey, he is doing it for me. I am very pleased with you, young master Neji. I chuckled. After playing with him for some more time, I left him, and our clothes were dirty. When my mother looked at me, she smiled happily. Did you play well? And without any hesitation, I hugged her legs and rubbed my muddied clothes on her, staining them. Yes, mother, I replied with a smile, and I could see her eyes twitch when I dirtied her dress. You punk. Why are you always like this? She said while lifting me by my collar and carrying me towards the bathroom. Because it's fun, I thought while crossing my arms. Soon, she threw me into a bathtub and cleaned me. Of course, I didn't forget to splash water on her, just to annoy her. It's time to sleep, baby, she said while putting me in bed. Yes, mother, I said and closed my eyes for a sweet nap. It was evening when I woke up, and it was time to train. Activating my Byakugan, I looked outside. The two personal guards were still guarding me from the shadows. The rooms in the Hyuga clan are a bit special. You couldn't see the insides of the room from the outside, but you could see the outside from inside the room. This was to preserve the privacy of the members, especially given their use of the Byakugan. From time to time, I studied the ceiling tags used in the walls. These two are surely loyal, I thought. Occasionally, I saw them eliminating bugs that tried to enter my room, which could be spies from the Aburame clan. That's why I wasn't worried about people learning about me. I think the time to use them properly is approaching, I mused. Raising my right hand, I focused, and a blue orb of spinning chakra started to manifest in my palm. I observed it closely and studied it. If my future son could learn it in 3 days, why can't I? It would be a shame if I couldn't do it in 2 days after practicing chakra control for 403 days and nights. And while he could do it in 3 days without knowing any chakra control. It's been 10 days since I learned the Rasengan, and I watched it very closely with my Byakugan. I brought my other palm over the spinning Rasengan and started to compress it. It looked so damn beautiful. An image. Compressing something is always very hard, but with compression comes power. Soon, it started to shrink and became very small, threatening to explode. I knew that if I lost even a bit of control, it could blow up in my hand. I didn't know why a compressed Rasengan looked more appealing to me than a regular one. First of all, it was small, green, and more powerful than the normal one. Second, it was very hard to achieve, And third, it looked beautiful. After observing and compressing it for almost 20 minutes, I let it go. Of course, I didn't waste any chakra. With enough mastery over it, I pulled all the chakra back into my system, just like I did with strings. I will be using Rasengan in such ways that Momoshiki will be asking for pointers from me. If he stayed alive, I completed my sentence. And, of course, I didn't steal Rasengan from anyone. How could I steal it when it already belonged to me? This jutsu belongs to Naruto, and he will be my husband. As his wife, everything that belongs to him eventually belongs to me. And he will teach me of his own will after I indirectly taught him, hee. After all, I will be his angel and the only person he would trust in this whole world. He will not live for the villagers, nor will he seek their attention. He will live only for me. Ha ha ha, now I sound like a true manipulative bastard. And how could I forget about the spineless Hokage and his boyfriend Danzo? Because of their cowardice and schemes, my big brother Neji lost his father and succumbed to the bullshit of fate. This would not happen here because I am here. I really need a long-range ninjutsu. My kidnapping is approaching, and before I have to create it, I can't let any Kumo ninja step inside the perimeter of 1,000 meters of my clan. Let's see how Hiruzen will deal with it when a Kumo ninja is found dead in your village. Hee. Let's see, who will you blame then? The white moon hung in the vast starry sky, and I was looking at it. Of course, it's to look serious and mysterious. My two personal guards were watching me from a tree. They might be thinking why their clan heiress was looking at the moon. It was around 8 in the night, and my parents didn't find it strange that I was awake because it was my daily routine to play in the courtyard behind the house, so they didn't bother me. I tilted my head and looked in their direction. I could see the surprised faces. Didn't they know I also have Byakugan? But then their faces turned normal after seeing my Byakugan. It's been 2 months since the day I learned Rasengan, so basically, I am 433 days old now. Squinting my eyes, I focused on them. You two, come out, I said in my childlike voice. The leaves on the tree slightly shook, and 2 of them appeared in front of me, kneeling. Nice. Good impression. Who are you, and why are you following me? I asked in ignorance. Our names are Ren and Ritsu, and we are your personal guards, Lady Hinata. Your father has assigned us to take care of your every need, Ren said, and I could sense slight excitement in his voice. So eager to serve me. Very well, buddy, I won't disappoint you. Really? I asked excitedly as I waved my hands, indicating them to stand up. Will you do anything for me? I asked again. They both nodded. Yes, Lady Hinata. Will you tell my father if I ask for ice cream at night? I curiously asked. No, we won't, they both said. Now that's good. With this brief conversation, I know what type of people they are. Go get me some ice cream, I said. This time, you can feel sick, Ren said in concern. Are you questioning me? I asked directly, looking into his eyes. No, I wouldn't dare, he quickly said and disappeared to get ice cream. Now, let's play, I energetically said and looked at Ritsu. This guy is a serious type who will follow without any question, but I could see the hesitation on his face. Now, quickly become a horse, just like father did, and I will sit on your back while you carry me all around. I said with a smile. Let's test the waters, I thought. To my surprise, all of his hesitation was gone, and he became a horse. I see, so this one only follows orders, and without orders, he doesn't know what to do. After playing with him for 5 minutes, I let the poor soul go. He quietly stood behind me while I was sitting on a rock waiting for my ice cream. What's taking him so long? I asked. I don't know, should I check? He politely asked. No, let's wait for a bit more. I activated my Byakugan to practice my internal vision. Swish. Ren appeared with a box of ice cream. He was soaked in sweat. What took you so long? Ritsu asked. Haha. He laughed wryly. All of the ice cream shops had been closed at this time, so I had to run at least 10 kilometers straight to find the ice cream for Lady Hinata, he said, gasping for air. Grabbing the ice cream, I looked at him. 20 kilometers in 10 minutes, so his speed is around 33.3 meters per second. I quickly did the math in my mind while taking a bite. So he is as fast as a cheetah, I mused. Show me some cool jutsu, I said. I wanted to know how correct my knowledge is, whether the hand signs are the same as I remember or different. Yes, Lady Hinata, Ritsu said and stood some distance away from me. I activated my Byakugan and closely observed his chakra pathways. As soon as he started to perform the hand signs, the chakra in his pathways began to flow towards his hands and molded into a particular pattern. I guess the molding is different for every jutsu, I thought as I closely watched how his chakra transformed into an element. Lightning release. Lightning snake, he said, thrusting his palm. Blue lightning snakes appeared around his palm and instantly struck the ground, creating a crater. Clap clap. I clapped my hands with a smile. That was awesome, I said. So the hand signs are the same, I thought. Hyugas know elemental jutsus, but they don't perform in public, and the reason is simple, their big ego. To them, Hyuga techniques are superior, in which case it's true. And I wholeheartedly believe that. With the Byakugan, Hyugas could see the chakra points in every ninjutsu, and they could dismantle any ninjutsu. That was the reason they didn't use ninjutsu in fights. It's more fun to disperse enemies' attacks with your bare hands, to make them feel despair. I stood up from the rock. Let me do it now, I said. I clasped my hands excitedly and started to perform the hand signs. I could feel the chakra in my pathways molding the exact way, rushing towards the tenketsu points of my hands, and transforming into the lightning element. I thrust my palm, and two blue snakes coiled around each other, instantly hitting the rock and blowing it to pieces. I could feel the destructive power of lightning. After performing the jutsu, I felt slightly exhausted. That was the problem with elemental jutsus, they couldn't be converted back into chakra. That's why I prefer chakra manipulation more than elemental manipulation. With chakra control, I could call it back into my system so I wouldn't become chakra exhausted. Well, it can't be helped. I just have to master it to the highest degree so that it needs minimal chakra to perform. Tilting my head, I looked at the surprised, shocked, astonished, and awed expressions on their faces. How can someone show so many emotions at the same time? I wondered. It was awesome, wasn't it? I asked. Yes, they subconsciously replied. Now praise me. How could you do that? It took me at least 10 days to master it, Ritsu asked, breaking his serious character. I am just that awesome, I said smugly. Now that they are both bound to me until their deaths, there is no need to pretend anymore. After all, they will be my partners in crime. The sooner they accept it, the better it will be for all of us. Young lady's talent is monstrous. She didn't even need to check her affinity, Ren said, slightly bowing. Now you are acting like a true lackey. What is affinity? I asked curiously, feigning ignorance. Let me explain, my lady, I nodded, and he continued, there are 5 elements: fire, earth, water, wind, and lightning. Every person has at least one affinity for an element, like I have lightning, and Ren has fire affinity. Some exponentially talented people have 2 or 3 affinities, he said. And how do you know about it? I asked while sitting on a bench. We test a person's affinity using chakra paper, he said, briefly explaining the chakra paper, which I already know about. Do you want to check, Lady Hinata? Ren curiously asked, and from his expression, he was eager to know how talented I am, even more than me. There is no need for that, I dismissively waved my hand, adopting a relaxed posture while continuing to practice my internal vision. But why not? Ren asked disappointedly. A piece of paper couldn't determine my talent. I will master all of them, I said as a matter of fact, and I didn't even need to look at their faces. They were again speechless. Were they thinking I am being arrogant? Show me some fire-style jutsu, I said to Ren, which he obediently followed. He stood some distance away and began to perform hand signs while closely watching his chakra flow. Fire style. Fireball. He exclaimed and shot out a fireball, heating the already heated atmosphere. I jumped and stood up on the bench and started to do the same hand signs. This time, the chakra started to mold in a different way, but it was harder than the last time. I ignored it, and with my chakra control, I forcefully brought it out to my fingertips as my chakra started to convert into fire. I inhaled as much air as I could into my lungs. There was no need for yelling the name of the jutsu. Fwish! I exhaled all the air, and the fireball shot out from my fingertips, burning the grass in front of me. Do you believe me now? I said, sitting on the bench. Man, this is tiring. That fireball and lightning snake depleted half of my reserves. For 1 minute, they didn't speak, and I could feel their whole demeanor change completely. Yes, we believe you, Lady Hinata, they said. You have to show them that you are worth following. Nobody follows a worthless person. And what I showed them was extraordinary, talent that had surpassed their imaginations. You have to show them that you are worth putting their lives on the line for, and that's what I showed them. It is a simple psychological fact that a weak person always follows someone powerful. Now they both have seen what I am capable of. They are bound to me, with heart and soul. Acquire 2 trusted lackeys. Goal completed, I chuckled in my mind at my wandering thoughts. It's been 2 months since that day when Ren and Ritsu taught me their jutsus. From that day on, I've been learning all of their jutsus from time to time. I also forced them to learn at least 1 jutsu from every other element. If they are going to follow me, they couldn't be weak. It's not just their jutsus, they're our jutsus, I chuckled. Currently, I knew at least 1 jutsu from every element, starting with lightning, then fire, and finally the rest. Activating my eyes, I observed my chakra and slowly guided it towards my index finger. As it began to leak from my tenketsu, I recalled the feeling when I used lightning jutsus. Gradually, the chakra transformed into lightning before my eyes, and a streak of lightning danced on my finger. I skillfully controlled it and aimed my finger at one of the balloons hanging from a thread. Swish, brush, splash. The water balloon exploded, splashing onto the floor while the streak of lightning dispersed into the thin air. I was doing the same thing with other elements as well. I wasn't bound by the common sense of the shinobi world, where jutsus are typically performed using hand signs. I had the energy to fully explore and understand them. During the time of Hagoromo, people used jutsu without any signs, but only those who truly comprehended their elements knew how it worked. However, it all changed when his son, Indra, invented the hand signs. From then on, it became customary for people to use jutsu with hand signs, often without truly understanding how things worked. I can bet that if a shinobi's hand was cut, they would become self-depressed and think they would never be able to use any jutsu. That was the mentality of the current shinobi world. I sighed after practicing all the elements little by little and completing 3 circles by forcibly expanding my chakra pathways. Then, I lay on the floor. So this is the limit of how much my body can handle, I thought while observing the chakra in my body. I was in my playroom, a privilege of being rich, provided by my parents. To them, I was playing. This room was situated at the corner of the house, so nobody would bother me. After relaxing for a minute, I stood up and began to hang all the toys, balloons, pens, and even papers with the help of threads. Each of them was tied to the ceiling. I waited for a few minutes until everything calmed down, and once they were all still, hanging in one place, I smiled. The second phase of my Byakugan training begins from here. With a sudden burst of chakra, I activated my Byakugan, and I could feel very, very faint, almost negligible shockwaves rippling in a circular motion. Some nearby papers shook slightly, something I wouldn't have noticed without the Byakugan. Here it is, I said. If Kagaya could subdue her sons with just her Byakugan and kill someone by merely standing in front of them, why can't I? These feeble shockwaves are my starting point, and with them, I could see into someone's mind or kill someone without even touching them. I just have to make these powerful, powerful enough to kill someone. This was the latent ability of the Byakugan, only used by Kagaya Otsutsuki. This time, I poured my chakra into my Byakugan, and again I felt the nearly negligible shockwaves emanating from my eyes, causing a nearby paper to slightly shake. Pathetic and weak, I murmured. These shockwaves can't even be felt, and killing someone with them is nothing more than a dream. Patience, Hinata, patience. Patience and hard work are the keys to success, I said to myself. 12 years, I will master it in 12 years. I started doing it again and again until my chakra was almost depleted. After more than 100 attempts, one thing was certain. My chakra was being converted into shockwaves through my Byakugan. My brows slightly furrowed when I thought of something. I am trying to learn Shinjutsu. That's it. A smile started to appear on my face when I realized the truth. Shinjutsu was different from ninjutsu or genjutsu. It literally means divine techniques, and divine techniques are chakra-based techniques of the highest order, mainly used by members of the Otsutsuki clan. Ha 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 ha. I laughed to my heart's content. Chaos. It will cause chaos and destruction if I truly master this one technique. Imagine controlling all types of shockwaves. I put my hand on my heart, which was about to burst from my chest due to sheer excitement. And just like that, time started to pass, and I began to train harder. Chakra manipulation and control, elemental manipulation and control, and finally, my favorite, Shinjutsu, the shockwaves. The first two things I practiced alone, while the latter I practiced in front of my parents or while playing with Neji. They wouldn't notice it, at least not for now. Look, mother, did I write it correctly? I asked my mother, showing her my paper. No, mine are better, Neji said while displaying his letters at the same time. Haha, both of yours are very good, my mother said while ruffling our hair. Currently, my mother had been teaching us learning and writing, and we were absorbing her lessons like sponges. Neji was a genius, there was no doubt about it. I glanced at him slightly. Too bad, big brother, you have to live in my shadow, I thought. After finishing our lessons, we both went to the playground. Neji had covered his forehead with a cloth. I knew what it meant, but his love for me remained the same, not decreasing even a bit. My uncle had certainly taught him about the clan traditions very well. But there was a slight mistake on his part. He had thought Neji would always protect me but didn't say anything about the clan elders, and he wholeheartedly accepted it when he found out the caged bird seal was meant to protect me. But deep down, he knew the real truth, but his love for me had clouded his mind. My influence over him was too great even for his own good. After playing for a while, I looked at him, and he looked at me. Why are you looking at me like that? He asked. Brother, why do you hide your forehead? I asked in my most sincere tone. I could see the hesitation on his face. It's time to play a good little sister, I thought. It's to protect you, he said with a smile. But I want to protect you, brother, I said innocently. After hearing my words, his smile became wider. Show me what you're hiding, I said, appearing in front of him and removing the cloth from his forehead. I looked at the caged bird seal, and he quickly lowered his eyes. What is it, brother? It doesn't look good on you, I said, quickly trying to erase it with my tiny hands. But even after a minute of trying to erase it, it didn't budge, and tears started to well up in my eyes. Why is it still there? I said while trying harder. Seeing my love and care, something his father hadn't shown him, his emotions surged, and his eyes also welled up with tears. After all, he was still a child. It's the fate of branch members. You don't have to cry, he said between tears. No, you are not a branch member, you are my brother, and I will erase that thing from your forehead, I said, hugging him. And he started to cry even more. But I am a branch member, he said in a meek voice. No, you are my brother, I said, patting his back with my hands. What are you? I asked him. Your brother, he said in a low voice. I promise you that you don't have to hide your forehead, I said. Really? He asked. Really? How could someone control you? I've had pampering you since my birth, and that privilege is only available to me, your little sister. He became more attached to me after knowing I considered him a real brother. He would start to hate every main branch member after his father's death. But this time, that won't happen. My kidnapping incident will make you completely mine, big brother, I thought while patting and consoling him. As he cried, a smile formed on my lips. In a dimly lit room, in front of a large mirror, my eyes pierced through my reflection. My hair fluttered backward when I activated my Byakugan. The chakra started to flow toward my eyes at an alarming rate, then it started to convert into shockwaves. And with a sudden burst, I released it. Shatter. The mirror shattered into many pieces, and I looked at the empty frame. Still weak, not even 1% of its true potential, I murmured while collecting all the broken pieces and putting them in the dustbin. In just that one move, half of my chakra was gone, but the progress was in front of my eyes. Although it's been nearly a year since I started my Shinjutsu training, this progress was very low. But only I know its true power, the destruction it could cause. Hinata, did you just break something? I heard my mother's footsteps approaching the room. Currently, I was in our sleeping room, they still hadn't given me my own room. I got busted. Now, what should I say to her? What should a 3-year-old kid do? Cry. That's it. Hee. I quickened my pace and tried to hide all the pieces under the bed. My mother looked at me from the door, and I was still hiding the broken mirror. This was not the first thing I had broken. Hinata, what are you hiding? My mother asked, still not entering the room. Nothing, Mom, I said while still trying to hide them. To me, she was not visible, at least this was what she thought. Are you lying, darling? She said in a sweet voice, and I could feel the anger beneath it. I think everyone had a line, and I had already crossed that line too many times, even my gentle and kind mother couldn't endure me anymore. I swear I am not lying, I said, my back still turned towards her. Then what are you hiding? She asked. Nothing. At this point, my voice started to become shaky, as if I was about to cry. Hinata. This time she was really angry. I slowly turned my face towards my mother. Tears started to roll down my cheeks, and a sob escaped from me. I was just playing, and it broke on its own. I really didn't break this, I said between my sobs. Oh, God, how much I love this. She started to walk towards me with steady steps, and I took a few steps backward. I think she is really angry. Do you think you can fool me? This is the third mirror you've broken in just 10 days, she said. So my time has come, I thought. She raised her hand. Oh, she's going to slap me. Mother, don't hit me. I swear I will not do this again. More tears started to fall, but this did nothing to her. When her hand was about to hit me, I yelled, Father, help me. And in the next instant, my father was at the door, his eyes closed. What are you doing? This brat is getting out of hand. I am just teaching her a lesson. I know you are the one who spoiled her. Look at the mirror. It's broken again. My mother turned back and said to him. She is just a child. Let her play. Don't be too harsh, he said, and I quickly ran towards him and hid behind his legs. Just a child, you say? Don't blame me if she causes trouble outside, my mother said angrily. My princess won't do it again, right? He asked me while ruffling my hair. Yes, father, I won't do it again, I said with my sweetest smile, and his heart melted. I then looked at my mother with a mocking expression and stuck out my tongue. Hee hee. You, she pointed her finger towards me. Father, I tightly tugged at him. Sweetheart, my father tried to reason with her, and seizing the opportunity, I ran out of the house, leaving the two of them alone. Are you going to let her go just like this? She said. Ah, don't be so harsh, darling. Let her play, and come with me, I will help you vent out your anger, he said with a smile. You, she said with a blush but followed him. HMMM. I happily hummed and walked towards the training ground where Neji and I always played. Little sis, you look happy. What happened? He curiously asked. Haha, I was having fun with mother and father. Do you want to join next time? I asked with a smile. I'm not falling for your trap again. Because of you, I got beaten, he said. Ah, don't be like this, brother. That was just a game, I said. And you put all the blame on me, he said, pointing towards me. Do you want me to get beaten? I asked in a sad tone. No, I won't. That's why I don't say anything to Auntie, he said, trying to lift my mood. I smiled happily. You are the best, brother. HMPH, he huffed happily. Hey, brother, I asked while playing. Yes. Want to sneak out tonight? I asked him with a grin. I knew he also wanted to get out of the clan and explore the village, but our parents never allowed us outside of the clan district. Really? His eyes lit up. What if anyone finds out? What if we encounter some danger? He quietly asked. Oh dear brother of mine, we will encounter danger, that's why we are sneaking out. We won't face any danger, worry not. Ren and Ritsu will protect us if anything happens, I said. Oh, those two guys, he said, as he already knew about them from what I had told him. But this is dangerous, he said. Are you scared? I asked. Of course not, he said with a smile. Both of us began to plan our little escape, which was very easy because I had told my father that I would be playing in the park. He agreed, knowing that Ren and Ritsu would be guarding me. It was around 9 at night. After dinner, I told my father and mother that I was going outside to the park, so they wouldn't have to worry. Are you sure about that? I asked Ritsu. Yes, Lady Hinata. I have observed 2 Kumo ninjas still in the village, and they were circling around the clan stealthily. The treaty between Konoha and Kumo was just a cover to kidnap me, and I was 100% sure the Hokage and Danzo knew about it. How could someone walk freely in other villages without being discovered? That was just absolute bullshit. So, what are we going to do, Lady Hinata? He asked. Of course, we will kill them, I said. What if they find out? They will put all the blame on the Hyuga clan. That man is the head ninja of Kumo, and they will ask for an explanation, he asked. Worry not. They won't find out anything, I said with a chuckle. It was time to see the full potential of the Rasengan. You're here, Neji said as he just arrived. Did your father notice you? I asked. No, I put a dummy in my room, so he will think I am sleeping, he said with a proud smile. You idiot, he has a Byakugan. That's good, but I didn't say anything to him. Let's go. Ren and Ritsu grabbed both of us and disappeared from there. Hey, sis, why are we here? Neji asked. We were currently standing on a water tank on a rooftop, with a crescent moon hanging behind us. Hee hee, brother, I found something, I chuckled. Use your Byakugan and see, I asked him. Byakugan, he exclaimed and started to search for something, then 2 ninjas came into his view. They are in black clothes. Who are they? They don't look like good guys, he quietly said. Currently, Ren had cast a camouflage technique, so nobody could see us unless we made some unnecessary moves. His Byakugan was not as strong as ours, so he could only see these 2 Kumo ninjas, while I could see some Anbu ninjas spying on them. There were also 2 root ninjas present. Ying knew it. If the Hokage wanted to eliminate them, he could have done it easily. But he didn't do it. Does he also want to gain benefits from this, and these root ninjas? Lady Hinata, what should we do now? Ren asked. This is a good ploy, I commented. Certainly, Ritsu said. It's time to make Neji completely mine, I thought. They were currently planning how to kidnap me, and with the Byakugan, it was not hard to read their lips and tongue movements. Hey, Neji, you could hear what they are saying. Just focus on their lips and tongue movements and try to copy them, I instructed him. I haven't done it before, but if it sounds fun, he happily said and focused his attention on them. He started to speak some random words, but soon he got used to it and started speaking normally. As he spoke, a frown started to appear on his face. In 1 hour, I will kidnap the clan leader's daughter. You stay on guard, and if anything goes wrong, you quickly run away and inform the village. The Raikage will handle this, but everything will go alright, and then our village will also have the Byakugan. Haha. Neji stopped reading their lips at this moment, and a panicked expression appeared on his face. Little sis, they are planning to kidnap you. Let's go quickly, we have to tell this to father and uncle. This is so bad, he said hurriedly and tried to run towards the clan. But I quickly grabbed his hand. Worried about me? How cute and adorable. Let me show you something cool, I said. This is not for games, little sis, we have to hurry. He is right, Lady Hinata, Ren also said. Fools, I am still here, how can they kidnap me from the clan? Use some brain. They started to move and were currently hiding in an alley. After waiting for half an hour, I thought this was the perfect time. I raised my right hand, and my 2 fingers were aimed at them. What are you doing, sis? Neji asked. Hee, let me show you, brother. It's time to use a complete and perfect Rasengan. From the tenketsu of my index, lightning chakra started to leak out in a controlled manner, taking the form of a sphere. From the tenketsu of my middle finger, pure chakra started to leak out in a massive amount. The next moment, lightning and pure chakra mixed together in perfect harmony, creating a complete and perfect lightning Rasengan. It was dark blue, just like my hair, with lightning crackling around it. It was smaller compared to a normal Rasengan, obviously a compressed lightning Rasengan on my fingertips, ready to shoot out. What is this jutsu? I have never seen something like this before, Ren exclaimed in surprise when he felt its destructive power. This thing was nothing like the original Rasengan. When I found out that their heads were linear. Swish. In the next moment, the Rasengan was shot out from my fingers. The distance of 400 meters was covered in an instant. Burst. Thud. Both of their heads were burst open, their brain matter splattered on the ground, and in the next moment, their headless bodies hit the ground. Poor guys didn't even know what hit them. A sense of pride filled my eyes as I looked at my handiwork. This jutsu was a killer move, I had practiced day and night for 1 month to perfect it. And as a great man once said, you're either perfect or you're not me. Such fine control over chakra and elements. You are a monster, Lady Hinata, Ritsu said with a surprised face. Puke. Neji threw up when he saw the gruesome sight. Well, I would be lying if I didn't feel the same, but I can't show weakness, at least not now. I pulled out a bottle of perfume and shattered it where we were standing. If the search team had an Inuzuka, they could track someone by their smell. I had prepared for this. Quickly, move, I said, and soon we appeared in a different place. Neji was still in a daze, but he was recovering quickly. 2 Anbu ninjas appeared on the scene. It's time. I looked at Neji. Look, brother, the Hokage's Anbu. What are they doing here? If they were here, why didn't they stop them? Neji asked in confusion. Let me tell you the truth, brother. These Anbu ninjas already knew about this, They were just waiting for the perfect opportunity. What opportunity? He asked. When the bad guys would kidnap me, they would quickly inform my father. When that happened, my father would have killed my kidnapper, and the other one would have escaped and informed his village. Then, when the enemy village would demand an explanation, the Hokage would do nothing, and we would have to give them the dead body of my father. Because the Hokage is a spineless bastard, but you know how much your father loves his brother. So, instead of my father, your father would have willingly sacrificed himself for his brother, and then you would have hated me for the rest of your life, thinking that it was because of me that your father had to die. Now, do you understand, brother? I finished my explanation, and all three of them were shocked. Neji was speechless for some time. Then he spoke. Thank you, sister. I will never hate you. Because of you, my father is still alive. This is all the Hokage's fault. From now on, Neji is mine. To him, I had saved him from the harsh treatment of branch members, and I will remove his seal in the future. I have saved his father, and his young mind always thinks of me as his savior, his father's savior, his beloved little sister who loves him. Of course, I will teach him in the future. He will never escape the real cage bird I have created, the cage of care, love, and trust. You don't have to thank me. I am your sister, aren't I? And yes, you are right, this is all the Hokage's fault. If he wanted, he could have stopped them. He also wanted to gain some benefits from our clan, I said, consoling and whispering in his ear. I can't let Hiruzen do the will of fire, or Hokage bullshit with Naruto. I have to do something about him so he cannot concentrate on Naruto or start hating Naruto. I will see about the latter. This was not supposed to happen. Who killed them? I didn't see anything, one of the Anbu said. Let's clear this. No one can see this. Let the Hokage-sama decide what to do, the other one said, while sealing the bodies in a scroll and using earth style to create the ground, then vanished away. Lady Hinata, what should we do about the masked ninjas? Ritsu asked. They want to use this opportunity to gain benefits from us, but worry not, we will take care of them. This time, there won't be an eye for an eye. This time, we will take their entire body, hee. I chuckled with a sinister smile. In the deepest part of Konoha, unknown to every eye, in a dimly lit room, a man was sitting on a chair. He had a scar on his chin, his face was stoic, showing no emotions whatsoever. There were two ninjas with white masks kneeling in front of him. Lord Danzo, one of them said, his voice emotionless like a puppet. In truth, he was a puppet for Danzo. Explain, Danzo said without showing any surprise or anything. The Kumo ninjas were about to start their mission, but they suddenly died. Their heads burst open, and when we looked for someone, no one was present there. Even the Anbu ninjas didn't know what had occurred at that time, the root ninja completed his report. Danzo squinted his eyes, this was not supposed to happen. With this incident, the Hyuga clan would take a huge blow, rendering them weak and so his plans go without any disturbance. With all of his political power, he had successfully prevented the Uchihas from interfering with the Kyuubi attack. After that, he framed them and relocated them to the outskirts of Konoha, claiming it was their fault that the Kyuubi attacked the village. However, he couldn't employ the same tactics with the Hyuga clan. He had already used all of his political influence to slander the Uchiha clan. If he did the same to the Hyuga, it would raise suspicion. Furthermore, the entire Konoha had witnessed the Hyuga clan members assisting during the Nine Tails attack. And secondly, he didn't consider the Byakugan as strong as the Sharingan. To him, Sharingan users were emotionally damaged and could pose a threat to his grand plans. If he couldn't control them, he would have to kill them. This was his policy. And the information he got from his spies indicated that the current Hyuga heiress was just a whiny brat with nothing special to offer. On the other hand, the Uchiha clan had Sasuke, who showed great potential, much like his older brother. But this time, he was wrong, and this mistake would come back to haunt him bit his. Did the Hyuga clan notice anything? Danzo asked. There have been no movements from them, the ninja reported. Good. Now, tell me about the Jinchuriki, he instructed. If this incident didn't work, he would create more incidents like this. As for the Kumo ninjas, the Hokage would deal with the Raikage. Lord Danzo, he seems to be happier than usual, the ninja said. What do you mean by happier? Danzo asked, slightly perplexed. He was sure Hiruzen hadn't made his moves yet, so how could the boy be happy? He had made the boy's life miserable. He was the one who leaked the rumors that he was the reincarnation of the Nine Tails, a real demon fox. That orphanage was a hunting ground for him, and the caretaker was his root ninja. He had instructed her to take special care of the Jinchuriki. We don't know, but for the past week, he has been happier than usual. However, the caretaker confirmed that nobody talks to him, and she has reduced his food from every 2 days to every 3 days, the root ninja reported. I see. Tell the caretaker to make him suffer more, he said without any sympathy. Yes, Lord Danzo, the root ninja replied before vanishing, leaving Danzo alone. Nothing is going according to plan, he thought inwardly. In the Hokage office, Hiruzen let out a puff of smoke from his long smoking pipe. 2 Anbu were kneeling in front of him. 2 scrolls were lying on his desk, obviously, these sealed the dead body of the Kumo ninjas. So you are saying that their head just burst, he asked again. Yes, Hokage-sama, the Anbu ninja respectfully said. Hiruzen closed his eyes for a moment and then asked, what the medical reports say. They said that they found lightning chakra in their bodies. First, it electrocuted their brain and paralyzed their body, and when the electricity was too much to handle for their brain, it exploded. That was the reason for their deaths, the kneeling ninja said. Lightning style. Hiruzen started to rack his mind, but he didn't find anyone that uses the lightning chakra. Kakashi, but he quickly dismissed that idea. The Anbu continued, they were both killed by a single jutsu. What do you mean by that? Hiruzen asked, surprised. The medical team says that the chakra was identical in their bodies, and from our search team, we found out that it was a projectile-type jutsu. We discovered a hole in a nearby wall that extended over 400 meters, piercing through all the walls. Fortunately, there were no casualties. When people woke up, they found small holes in their walls and now they are asking for explanations, he continued. But when we reconstructed the angle of the projectile, we found out it was shot from a rooftop 400 meters away from the crime scene. However, when the Inuzuka clan tried to track the scent, they couldn't detect it. It was perfectly dispersed with the help of perfume, and the enemies simply vanished into thin air, the Anbu ninja reported. I see, Hiruzen nodded. He had never encountered something like this before. The jutsu was also out of his knowledge. This was the first time he had heard of a jutsu that could kill someone from 1 kilometer away. Doesn't that mean this jutsu is perfect for assassination? He thought. What do you think of this, Shikaku? Hiruzen asked. Shikaku was the smartest person in the village and the Jonin commander. He had called Shikaku for this case. I think this was done by someone from the Hyuga clan, he said after analyzing the situation. Hiruzen was surprised again, but according to Anbu ninjas, there had been no movements from the clan. Explain, he asked. They were about to kidnap Hiyashi's daughter, and according to you, there were no movements from them. But what if some of their members were already outside of the clan at that moment? With their Byakugan, it's not very hard to escape the radar of the Anbu. Look at how skillfully they managed to fool the Inuzuka clan. As for the lightning chakra, we know nothing else besides their gentle fist technique. We know more about the Uchihas than Hyugas. And when everything was right, they quietly entered the clan without anyone noticing, Shikaku explained. Hiruzen thought for a moment and then asked, how sure are you? 80%, Shikaku replied. It is Hiashi, Hiruzen asked. No, I don't think so. Explain, he ordered. You see, I have known him since childhood. If he had done it, he would be standing in front of you, asking for an explanation. He is too prideful to use this type of method, Shikaku said. So it's done behind his back, Hiruzen mused. But every branch member is under his control, and the elders didn't interfere in these types of matters, so who could it be? The person is from the main branch without Hiyashi's influence over him. How about the person who is about to be kidnapped? Shikaku suggested. Do you think a 3-year-old kid had done all of this without alerting anyone? This is ridiculous, Hiruzen said. But it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I'm not saying she has done this, but she is the prime suspect, Shikaku replied. But according to our information, the girl is just a haughty brat, whining over little things, and she hasn't even started her training until now, Hiruzen said. With his spies, he knew about every clan heir or potential talent. Information can be manipulative, Hokage-sama, Shikaku said. They both knew this was absurd, but they had seen so many things, and this one might fall into that category. But we have a way to find out, Shikaku continued. Go on, Hiruzen urged. We all know that when someone uses a jutsu, some of the chakra remains in the surroundings. You mentioned that a high-level ninjutsu was used, so we could track that person with the help of the Aburame clan's bugs. Unlike the Inuzuka, they use a person's chakra signature to track someone, Shikaku explained. Anbu, call the clan head, Hiruzen ordered, and an Anbu ninja was dispatched. In less than 10 minutes, the clan head of the Aburame clan arrived in the Hokage's office with his son, Shino. Hokage-sama, what are your orders? Shibi asked respectfully. You have to find a person, Hiruzen said and explained the situation to Shibi. In just 10 minutes, they were all standing at the water tank where Hinata had been some hours ago. They all looked at Shibi to perform his task. Soon, some bugs started to emerge from his body and circled around the area. Did you find anything? Hiruzen asked. There were 4 people present at this place. The other 3 people didn't use any chakra, so I couldn't get their chakra signatures. But I can only identify one chakra signature from the person who used the jutsu. His chakra is still present in the air, Shibi said. Search for him, Hiruzen ordered. Shibi nodded and the bugs started to fly in various directions. After some time, they returned, and a frown appeared on his face. What is it? What did you find? Shikaku asked. That person's chakra is all over the place, on the trees, on the walls, and even on some civilians. To be exact, 722 places. His chakra is mixed all over the place, Shibi said, clearly surprised by what he had found. Okay, Shibi, you can go. Your work here is done, Hokage said, to which Shibi nodded and disappeared with his son. Now I am 100% sure, it's someone from the Hyuga clan, Shikaku said after Shibi had left. He didn't want to create a dispute between clans. Explain, Hiruzen asked. Only a Hyuga is capable of emitting pure chakra from their hands, and it was done on purpose. Tell me, Hokage-sama, how many people do you know who can bring out their chakra from their bodies? Shikaku asked. The samurai from the land of iron use chakra to coat their swords, then Tsunade, and finally all the Hyugas in their gentle fist, Hiruzen replied. There is no samurai in the village, and Lady Tsunade is out of the village, so the only Hyugas remaining are within the clan, Shikaku completed his sentence. But there's no evidence, and we cannot breach their clan. All the evidence is masterfully covered. Who is this smart? Hiruzen said. I personally would like to meet this person. He could be a great shogi player, Shikaku said. Hiruzen was disappointed when he didn't find the evidence. This incident could have strengthened his position as Hokage, but now he had to look for another opportunity. A good clan is a weak clan, this was his policy, and both Danzo and Hiruzen had the same master who also despised the Uchiha clan, or more precisely, any clan that could endanger the position of Hokage. I have to meet Hiyashi's daughter to see for myself, he thought. What should we do about the Kumo ninjas? The Raikage will send a message asking for an explanation, Shikaku asked. What explanation? They were in the enemy village without permission, Hiruzen said. I understand, Hokage-sama, Shikaku acknowledged. It would have been different if Hiyashi had killed them, Hiruzen thought, and then disappeared from there. In a dimly lit room, amidst the thousands of books, a candle was flickering, and I was reading a book on medical ninjutsu. It had been some hours since the Kumo ninja incident had happened. Lady Hinata, why did you make the library look like a haunted house? Ren asked curiously. Raising my head towards him, I spoke in a scary voice, to give it an air of menace. Just for that? He said. I just looked at him and replied, yes. Single quote. Lady Hinata, do you think someone could track us? Ritsu asked. Of course not, I said confidently. This stunt was really hard to pull off without anyone noticing it. I had to exert the chakra in the form of strings from all my tenketsu points to fool the Aburame bugs. And I did it twice and left a small amount of chakra on everything. It will only remain for a few hours. Maybe it has already dispersed, and after that, nobody will find me. How sure are you? Ren asked. 100%, I said. After that, they both just stood there respectfully while I read the complete book. It's my 9th book on medicines and poisons. My father had brought all types of medical books for me, and they were already stored in the library. The candle was already on its last legs, so I closed my eyes and started practicing my internal vision. I was observing how my brain works and trying to see it on a cellular level. Currently, my goal for this year is to see the neurons in my brain. Just like that, hours passed, and my progress with my Byakugan was slow but steady. I could make major differences from other clan members. Lady Hinata, are you sleeping? Ren quietly asked. No, I said, opening my eyes. Everything was done for today. When I looked outside, I could see the red hue on the horizon as the sun was about to rise. So I practiced all night, I thought. Hey Ren, I have a question to ask you, I said, with a smile forming on my face. What is it, Lady Hinata? He asked. I chuckled a bit before asking, what would a dying father write to his newborn son? Let me think, he pondered for a while before answering, I am sorry, my son, for my incompetence. I have to leave you alone in this cruel world. I hope you grow into a fine man and live your life happily. Your dear father. Ren ended his sentence with a dramatic sigh. I chuckled and said, it's nice, but it needed more emotions. Why are you asking such questions, Lady Hinata? Ren asked, confused. Soon. You will find out very soon, I said mysteriously, which he didn't understand. Ren nodded to me and didn't say anything. Then I looked at Ritsu and asked, what do you think of genjutsu? Nothing, he said without any delay. I raised my eyebrows and asked, explain. You see, Lady Hinata, genjutsu is useless against the Byakugan. We can see the foreign chakra in our pathways and disperse it in an instant. That's why Uchiha are always jealous of us. We can disperse their Sharingan's genjutsu before it even affects us. They couldn't copy our fighting style. Without the Byakugan, it's useless. As for ninjutsu, we can dismantle all of their jutsu, he explained to me. That's why there hasn't been a fight for decades between the two clans, Ren said. Do you know their eyes could evolve to the next stage? I asked curiously. The Mangekyo, so you have read about them, Ritsu asked. I nodded to him. There were many books in the library hidden from everyone, and they mentioned the Mangekyo Sharingan. Well, I already know about it. Do you know, Lady Hina?